Hello and welcome to the Daily Aus. I'm Zara Seidler.
I'm Billi FitzSimons.
In case you missed it, people can no longer watch porn on PornHub. That is, unless you have an existing account. And if you don't have an existing account, well, you now can't create one. That's because of a new code that came into force in Australia yesterday that requires all porn sites to verify the ages of its users. Now we're going to discuss the new laws and why PornHub is responding by shutting off most access to its website in today's podcast.
Zara, I want to start this podcast by doing something that I never thought I would do, which is searching up PornHub with you.
Oh.
Yeah. I would.
Team building.
I think that, because this is a huge development,
Yeah.
that Australians can no longer watch PornHub. I've previously done some reporting on this on overseas countries. So I remember UK has done something like this.
Yeah.
And what I learned from that is that PornHub is actually one of the most popular websites in the world. I think it's top 10 in Australia.
It is the 9th most popular website in Australia.
That is crazy.
I actually have the list here. I can show you. So we have Google, YouTube, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, ChatGPT, Wikipedia, and then PornHub. And do you know what it's above that really annoys me?
It's above the Daily Aus, definitely.
It's above the Daily Aus. It's above bomb.
Oh.
How are people finding out about the weather?
The poor weather.
Seriously. But yes, it is a huge website.
But so if we type PornHub into Google and then I'm in, I have selected that I am over 18.
Yeah.
And then there's no porn firstly really coming up on the website
the homepage.
Interface first. Yes, the homepage. That's a great way. And then what category do I
mean, if you click videos. So on the top,
porn videos, yes.
Porn videos, then you can see there's been a pop-up.
There's a pop-up that asks for me to log in with my email and password. And right after that, it says PornHub is not currently accepting new account registrations in your region. So basically, I can only log in if I have an account.
An existing account.
Account. And if I would now like to create a new account,
no dice.
I can't.
Not an option.
So I can't watch porn.
No, not on PornHub.
I would like to retract that statement.
It's on mic.
That is so weird.
Well, you can't on Pornhub, and Pornhub's parent company also owns a number of. I can't make eye contact with you after that statement.
Can we delete that?
There are a few other porn sites that company owns, and they're all the same. You can't access porn on them right now.
So Pornhub is owned by ALO.
Correct.
As of yesterday, anyone in Australia can't watch them unless they already have an existing account.
Correct.
That is huge news.
Yeah, it's really big. I mean, given, again, the traffic numbers that we know, but also just behaviors that we understand about people in the world and how much pornography is consumed, and that PornHub is the biggest of these websites, it's a really significant change.
Okay, and so before we get to, I guess, how this has happened, I think we should first explain the why.
Yeah.
So this was introduced by the eSafety Commissioner, Julie Inman-Grant. Why was this introduced?
So when we talk about this being introduced, the eSafety Commissioner in September last year first announced that she planned to require sites like PornHub and other sites that she said house harmful content, they had to have age verification assurances. What that means is that and it was from this week, sites like PornHub needed to be able to verify that people who were entering their website were over the age of 18. Different from the social media ban, which is the age of 16, and companies like Meta, Snapchat, whoever it was, had to prove that. Here we're talking about 18 plus, and we needed those websites to be using technology to confirm no one under the age of 18 was accessing them.
And just to be clear, the law doesn't require PornHub to take this step of not allowing anyone to watch porn, but that has just been PornHub's response.
Yeah, exactly. Just so that there's full clarity, PornHub already has a requirement for you to be over the age of 18 to access it, but that has looked very different from what the eSafety Commissioner wants. So typically in the past, if you went onto PornHub, it would say, are you over the age of 18? Yes, no. If you clicked yes, no further questions, you are in.
So it was pretty easy to lie, basically.
Yeah. I mean, the same as any of us setting up an account on social media when we were 12 and a half and you had to be 13. Like, everyone's always found a way around these things. But what the E-Safety Commissioner was saying was that the harm was so significant of people under the age of 18, she said particularly young men, accessing these websites, that she wanted those websites to be responsible for making sure that they're not on there.
And so how did they want companies like PornHub to verify the ages of their users?
Basically, there was no one size fits all. There wasn't, you have to do this. The E-Safety Commissioner ran through a few different versions of what that age assurance technology could look like. For example, some of the things that were floated were confirmation by a parent of age.
Sorry, can I pause you? That seems unlikely. That a 16-year-old boy is going to go to their parents and say, can you please give
Mum,
me...
I want to watch porn.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that one is unlikely, but I will just say that this isn't just for porn websites. There were also other harmful content warnings around other sites. So this is also trying to crack down on very violent and also suicidal related themes that were emerging on other sites or chatbots or whatever it was. So not sure that checking with mum was quite for this one. There was photo ID. So you having to provide identification that shows you're over the age of 18. Hopefully that's not an unflattering depiction of how old you are. Credit card checks. There were a whole host of things, but none of them were the one thing that were required. It was, you can choose how you want to do it. You just have to do it and prove you're doing it.
But PornHub has not done that.
Hey guys, this is my friend Rosa. Say hi, Rosa.
Hi, Rosa.
She's cooking up the deep dive video that you're watching right now. Rosa, what do you want them to do?
Subscribe.
You heard the woman. Now back to the video.
No.
One thing that I think is interesting about this, which is different because we're kind of having this conversation parallel to the social media ban verification discussion. But one thing that's interesting about this age verification process is that if we think about the social media ban, myself as someone who is over 18, that hasn't impacted me at all. And I have not had to prove that I am over 18. But in this scenario, every single person, according to this new law, would need to actively verify their age. So it's not just impacting the people under 18, it's impacting everyone.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've read about is that some companies that are now caught under this don't have the technology to store that information, and so they require you to do it every single time you want to watch porn, and that would be a very high barrier to entry. And as a result, the idea is that they think they'll get less traffic to their websites.
And another thing that I'm sure many people are thinking about is privacy.
Yeah.
Because this is quite sensitive information that you would be giving over to these porn companies.
Yeah. I mean, this was also something that was raised when it came to the social media ban. It's that, are we talking about storing children's data and who is in control of that data, and what if there is, you know, a cyber attack and things like that? Here, you're right. We're talking about handing over potentially your identification to a porn website. And interestingly, said porn website, so PornHub's parent company said back in 2023, so 3 years ago, they said any regulations that require hundreds of thousands of adult sites to collect significant amounts of highly sensitive personal information is putting user safety in jeopardy. They are identifying that they think there are privacy concerns when it comes to collecting and maintaining that data.
And so in this scenario, they have complied because they have just shut down. I mean, they've gone further than complying. They've taken it a step further.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if the E-Safety Commissioner would say that they've necessarily complied, because I don't know how they've back verified, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like all the people who have accounts can still access PornHub. And given in the past, all you had to do was check, I'm over 18. I don't know if they are complying, but what they're doing is making sure that moving forward, no one can access it. So if you don't have an account, or if you didn't have an account yesterday, you can't now make an account. There is none of that technology. You aren't handing over your ID. You just don't have the option. You cannot access PornHub without an existing account.
And PornHub is it's one of the big, I imagine.
It's the biggest.
It's the biggest porn company in the world. So making sure that they are complying with the law is easier than the smaller companies. What if they don't comply, the smaller companies?
Well, I mean, the rules are that if a company doesn't comply, they face penalties. And I say that to be really clear that we're not talking about if a 17-year-old accesses PornHub and somehow gets around it and is able to, they're not in trouble. The way that this is set up, similar to the social media ban, is that the companies are liable and thus they can face penalties of up to $49.5 million per breach.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I imagine that because Pornhub has taken this approach, we can presume that they don't agree with this law?
Yeah.
What have they said about that?
They've been pretty explicit in it's not necessarily about the execution of how this code will work, but about the idea behind it. It should be said they stand to profit from more eyeballs on their website. And so there is a financial argument that they're making. But they say, all our evidence shows that age verification does not effectively protect minors and instead creates harms relating to data privacy and exposure to illegal content on non-compliant platforms. They're making the argument, is this going to create a black market for porn, which, I mean, already exists, but is this then going to push people off websites like Pornhub and onto more unregulated spaces online?
And it's not like the social media ban where Australia was the first to do it.
No.
This is not a unique idea. We've explained on the podcast, the UK has done it. I'm pretty sure France has done it. And Pornhub has taken similar steps, right?
Correct. Yeah, there is precedent here. They've done the same in France. In the UK, it was last month that they banned all new accounts, similar to what we've seen here. They also have some cases in the US, in certain states. They've taken local authorities to court over bans. So this is, seemingly a global thing that is happening. Pornhub is almost representative of the entire industry because it is so big. It has such a monopoly. And so it'll be really interesting to see what happens here. Will they be penalized? Will that penalty be enforceable? Will it force other people to change their behaviors and other websites to change? Remains to be seen.
I guess to wrap up, I think one thing that is always discussed when we are talking about porn is how it impacts young men and boys and their views towards sex.
And women.
Yeah. Do you think this will completely change that?
I think that there are a range of responses, both from government, from regulators. People are trying to intervene here. We know, though, that young men are consuming porn at significant levels, and where they go next, they're not going to change their behaviors overnight. That is going to take a long time. If they can't access, for example, the biggest porn site in the world, where will they go? I guess that's the question.
Such an interesting thing to think about, Zara. Thank you for explaining it.
Thank you, Billi.
And thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Daily Aus. We'll be back later today with the evening headlines, but until then, we hope you have a lovely day.